Hello, my artists, and welcome to day 4 of our 7-day Kids Wellness Challenge, Discovering Passions. First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to you. Today, we have a very special activity to celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's going to be gratitude leaf prints. Before we jump into this art activity, I want to share about a famous artist who's inspiring this activity today. His name is Claude Monet. Monet was a renowned impressionist painter who loved to capture the beauty of nature in his works. One of his most famous pieces, Water Lilies, shows how he blended colors and light to create stunning scenes that make you feel like you're right there in nature. It's all about seeing the beauty around us and expressing our feelings through art. So today, we'll be creating our own beautiful artworks that expresses our gratitude. The supplies that you'll need will be a clear sheet of paper. This can be any type of paper. It can be printer paper, whatever you have around the house will work. And then if you have colored pencils, that will also come in handy. If you don't have colored pencils, crayons works well too. And if you don't have any of those things, you can use a pencil. That works perfectly fine. I'll still be teaching some of the same techniques that you can use throughout this. And then you'll also need leaves. And if you don't have leaves, no worries. You can sketch out your own leaves. Depending on where you live, you may have leaves readily available to you, or you may not. So either way, we can still work with it. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take a leaf. Go ahead and put it down on your paper. Then we are going to select a color. Now, whatever color you select, it doesn't have to be the same color of the leaf. If you look at Monet's work, he often used colors in really expressive ways, and it didn't always necessarily represent objects that he was painting. So following along with Monet, I'm gonna pick whatever color I'd like. And I'm gonna start with the color blue, but you can pick whatever color you'd like. And again, I'm going to think of something I'm grateful for as I'm doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put it face down so that this way I can trace easily around the leaf. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so I have a light mark here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fill that in a little bit more, just so I can see the edges a little bit more. Something else that you can try is to sketch it out yourself. You don't have to necessarily trace around it. If you want to view it up here to look at it and see if you can try to sketch it out the best that you can, that's also a good idea. All right, so I have my leaf sketched out. One of the things I'm going to look at for this leaf, and I'm going to first sketch out, is this line here that goes down. And really looks like a pretty straight line down the middle. So I'm just going to take my pencil and draw the line in down the middle here. There we go. This also helps me organize my composition. As I look at things, I can kind of see where things are, especially when I look at shadows in the leaves, where it dips in here, where the light's hitting it. I see some shadows here and some lighter areas here. I can always reference this line as the middle point, which can be a helpful way to organize my composition. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some of those dark areas here in the leaf, the shadows. So where the light's hitting it, I can see some darker areas below right here. I am going to assign those darker areas here the color blue and play with colors a little bit. So I've got my blue pencil and I have my leaf, and I'm looking at the leaf, and I'm just going to start to color in some of those darker areas, the color blue. Pay attention to just where the light hits it, and you can do this with a crayon. You could also do this with a pencil. See a dark shadow here. I see some darker areas here. And a color here. I'm also seeing a darker area here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in with blue too. My marks can go in many different ways, so you don't have to just stick with one way of doing your marks. In fact, I like to do my marks in a variety of ways. And I see a dark area here as well. Then I see a nice dark area here. I hope that you are seeing this too. The angle might not be the same as where my camera is as where I'm looking, so I'm just coloring the areas that I see that are dark. So go ahead and start to fill in the dark areas that you see on your leaves while I fill in the dark areas that I see on my leaf. Have fun with it. And as you're doing so, I'd like for you to think of that thing that you are grateful for. If some of the areas are very dark, you can have some of those lines be darker too. And you can fill in the stem if you'd like. Okay, do you have your dark areas in? Great. So then I am going to select another color and I'm going to start to fill in some of those light areas. So I just filled in my darkest darks of where the shadows are. Now I'm going to start to look at some of those areas that are light. And for my lighter color, I think I'm going to stick to a vibrant color to represent that light color. So I'm going to pick the color orange to do some of the light areas in here. So when I'm looking at my leaf, I see some light highlights right where the light is hitting my leaf. Right here, I see some areas here. I see some right along the side here. So I'm going to go ahead, have fun, and fill in some of those lighter areas that are popping out to me with the color orange. You can pick whatever color you like, but I do recommend if you're doing the light areas, picking a vibrant color. So yellow, orange, pink, those colors will pop out nicely. You could do a vibrant green as well. It also depends on what you have in your crayon set. Okay, so I have my lighter colors mapped out. Now for the last step, I'm going to fill in some of those middle tone colors. So not so much where the shadows are and not so much where the highlights are, but just some of those middle tone colors. The color that I'm going to use to fill this area in is green, but you can use whatever color you like. And all I'm going to do is just start to fill in all those other areas. And I like to have the strokes that I'm using here kind of go in all sorts of different directions. It's okay if the colors overlap. Monet would encourage it. So have fun filling in those middle tones. You can overlap some of the colors so that they start to blend nicely. And have fun with it. That's the most important part. So now something that you can do is add in some details if you'd like. So maybe go back in with an even darker color and start to look at some of those areas that are super dark and add in whatever details you like. Have fun adding in your detailed work, or if you like it as is, keep it as is. Feel free to take your time and add more details if you'd like. And now I'd like for you to add a few more leaves in your composition. You can put the leaves wherever you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and start to trace my leaves and kind of put it wherever I'd like to balance it around the composition. For balance, I have a leaf up here, and I just drew one right here. Where else could I put a leaf to make the composition a little more balanced? I think I'm going to add one right here in the bottom left corner. So maybe I'll take this leaf and I'm going to push it this way so that it's easier to trace. And then just trace around the edges. Okay, so now I have a leaf there, and maybe I'll do another small one up and over here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then since I have so many that are kind of going this way, I think I want one going this way, maybe in the bottom right corner here. Oh, I broke my leaf, but that's okay. I'll pretend that it's still there. There we go. And I'll add a few more. Maybe I'll have this one turned to the side so it's a little bit different than that one. But have fun, place your leaves all over where you like to, and go ahead and repeat that first step that I just showed you. Keep in mind balancing your composition, and definitely keep in mind assigning gratitude for each leaf. Go ahead and pause me and have fun completing the rest of your gratitude leaf print project.
Great job today, my artist. You've captured the spirit of Thanksgiving and creative expression through your gratitude leaf prints. Just like Claude Monet showed us, art allows us to appreciate nature and express our feelings in beautiful ways. As we move through the challenge, let's remember to carry this sense of gratitude with us every day. Keep exploring your passions and embracing the beauty around you. Thank you for joining me in this creative adventure.